when the lockdown has been totally declared by the President of the Philippines, His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And I have been contemplating for several days on how am I going to help and educate people. As teachers, we are not just people teaching inside the four corners of our classroom, but we are as well frontliners in the proper dissemination of information for the purpose of teaching the public on how to properly respond to this crisis. Well, actually, like any other problem or political problem concerning the society as a whole, and like any discipline, the international law development should have guiding principles, rules, and structures. Why? Do I say, or why did I say that the international development law is involved in this crisis? Primarily because it concerns the world, not only the Philippines, but the world itself, concerning different countries that are affected by this pandemic. Well, as a branch of the international legal order, the subject must cover not only problems of insurgencies and other sorts of problems, but likewise diseases, as part of securing the nation. Actually, to address this, students of the international development law should take a second look and validate these factors in better understanding this phenomenon. Number one, media sensationalism. The COVID-19 has been sensationalized by media. What else can media do? Fake news thrives, impulsive but ignorant social media fanatics sharing with a gusto a likable information without the slightest effort of verifying if the information is correct. Well, actually, we must remember that by any chance or even in times of war, the president is still the commander in chief, and whatever his orders are, it shall be strictly implemented and should be complied. Second, social responsiveness. How many are still looking after themselves and neglecting others just to save themselves from the dilemma? What is the extent of humanity in this time of crisis? How do we respond to this crisis? Some people are not really that disciplined. At this time, we can see how people or the Filipinos are responding to this problem. You see, all of them are disobedient. Now, how do we educate this? There comes the part of the teachers. Unfortunately, some teachers are not well versed in verifying correct, reliable, legal, efficacy information. Actually, some teachers easily believed fake news. Well, not unless that is declared by the president, then that was the only time that we can say that the news is valid, the declaration is legal, reliable, has efficacy, and legitimate. Next, it's bioterrorism. That's third. Terrorizing the public leads to many advantages on the part of the administration, like disciplining people. As I've said earlier, the Filipino people is not willing to be disciplined. Why? Because they would not like to go out of their comfort zones. You see, social distancing is ordered by the local government, by the sangguniang barangay in the Philippines. Unfortunately, do they really follow? Do they really follow? Instead of obeying, they are complaining. That's how Filipino attitude is. Fourth, an economic mayhem. The current issue was marketing other products to be sold, which has been stagnated because there was no public demand. Hence, the current issue is an opportunity for other businesses to get noticed. Before COVID-19, some people are not health conscious. But right after the declaration of the state of calamity by the president, alcohol, vitamin C's, even claritin, loratadine, or other antihistamines was sold in the market. Before, it wasn't given attention. It was unnoticed by people. Why? Because the demand is low. But now that that the demand is high, people are panicking. People are now angry that the alcohol they were not buying before was being sold these days. Fifth, there is a hidden agenda. What is it? China could save the world by giving the antidote. Logic. The disease came from China, particularly in Wuhan. And then right after that, they will be so-called knights in shining armor. Why? Because they have the antidote. Sixth, it is the world supremacy, a cheap little effort leading to immediate multi-trillion dollar losses for the American market in 1 week, as well as economic crisis in China and elsewhere. Well, you know, Western countries, China is the sleeping giant, US has its tiger economy that even though it's undergoing depression or crisis or recession, still they will rise. Americans has the ability to rise in every fall. Miriam Kembao yan. Well, next one is seventh, discipline installation. The COVID-19 is teaching people to win away from the filthy lifestyle by doing the self-quarantine. Unfortunately, we would not like, or some people would not like to be quarantined. Why? Because they do not care about other people. You see, if you care for your loved ones, if you care for your neighbors, love thy neighbor, you'll follow the self-quarantine. The social distancing. Second is no socialization. Even graduations of children these days are off. Next, eighth one is the Spider-Man theory. With more power comes great responsibility. Why? The increase in the salaries of the AFP and the Tri-Bureau have equal responsibilities, which shall enforce and intensify the presence and work ethics of the military, policemen, jail officers, fire officers to secure national interest. So as with the barangay officials that you have elected to lead you. Unfortunately, these frontliners are experiencing issues, concerns that even tricycle drivers in the Philippines are not allowed to do their usual thing for earning a living. Well, actually, can you not see people that the government is trying to protect you? That is why they are giving you relief goods, food to provide for your family. Actually, this is a kind of situation that we must take advantage of. Why? Because you don't need to go to work, because all we care is securing the health of each and every one of us. Do not blame the frontliners, the policemen, jail officers, the fire officers, because they are risking their lives. Maybe some of you could not understand it basically because you don't have relatives like them. You only think of your own, less of the people who are risking their lives, especially nurses, doctors in the hospital, healthcare providers, and other people who are concerned and in authority these days due to the COVID-19. Last, head to foot as one body. The local officials have been empowered by the national government interagency task force to function in accordingly. Let them do their job. No, you have to let these people do their job. Do not take it personally. Ang dami-daming barangay official that you are throwing stones upon. Number one, you blame them. Number two, you attack them. There was one instance in Quezon that a barangay captain uh, was stabbed to death by a scythe. And there is curfew, there is social distancing. Again, I will reiterate social distancing. One person per household will do the marketing. If we people are not open with discipline, nothing will happen for this country. I remember Professor and former Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago. She said, "This country shall be reformed and defended." How can we defend a country wherein people would not like to be defended? Instead, they think more of themselves. I remember John F. Kennedy during his inaugural address. Ask not what your country can do for you. Instead, ask what you can do for your country. Why not you attend to being more attentive to what is happening in the community? You may ask your barangay leaders, what can we do to help? Instead of, how about us? We always think of ourselves, less of other people who care for us. The mere fact that even the issue of panic buying was only applicable for those who have money. This is why the relief goodies they are given to you, like rice, simple canned goods, noodles, and other things that the government could provide. Remember that even the poorest of the poor are paying taxes. Why? Because every time you buy products in the Philippines, it has VAT, the value added tax. Itong mga frontliners na binababag nyo every now and then, we're paying taxes for you, especially for the 4-piece. You see, everything in the government is interrelated. Everything in this nation is interrelated. Please be more concerned. Please be more understanding in this time of crisis. Well, biblically, this could be some sort of rupture, the start of rupture, where everything will return to dust. Our life these days has no assurance. Now, let me take this opportunity to call on my co-teachers, co-students in the graduate school to please disseminate proper information. Do not just share. Think of what you are going to share because you might be risking lives. Legally, there was, you have a legal liability if you are spreading fake news. No. Everything is under the law. Everything is in process. Everything is in order these days. And I do believe that our cooperation is a must these days. Let us not complain. Before we even complain, let us obey first. And I will reiterate that in these times of crisis, that the power of the president being the commander-in-chief is in full force. It's constitutional, it's legal, it's legitimate. Kaya pag siya nang nag-declare, that's the only time we will believe. This state of calamity has its perfect time to end. Let us be patient. Good evening, everyone, and I hope this video has helped you.